Hey, visibility is not the problem. You don't need more posts. You don't need to show up more or shout even louder. You see, the real issue is, hang on. The real issue is what happens after somebody sees you, or more accurately, what doesn't happen after somebody sees you. Well, today we're going to talk about why visibility without follow-up creates frustration instead of momentum. And it also comes with a workbook. And we're going to talk about why most businesses don't have a visibility issue. They have a follow-up problem. All right, so if you would like today's workbook, head to sparklewithsally.com/524. That's sparklewithsally.com/524. Because it's episode number 524 for Strategy with Sally, the podcast. All right, guys, we'll do our normal theme song and then we'll jump on into today's topic while we wait for the VIPs to join us. I'll be back in 3.5.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine, go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up?
welcome to Strategy with Sally. And today we're talking about visibility and the fact that we don't actually need more visibility, but we need you to what? Follow up. That's right. It's not about showing up more or posting more or, just getting more social online, like all your scheduled posts. The real issue is what actually happens after somebody sees you, or what you're not actually doing after someone sees you. And that's why we want to talk about visibility today. You see, this session is designed to actually be used with a workbook. So if you head to sparklewithsally.com/524, yep, that's number 524, because we have now, this will be episode number 524 when it drops. So how cool is that, right? We didn't even celebrate number 500, and now here we are at episode 524. What the what? All right, but you can head to sparklewithsally.com/524 to grab that workbook called Visibility to Follow Up. Now, if you've got it open, keep it nearby, and then if not, you can still follow along without the workbook. But this episode will totally be different when you give yourself space to reflect instead of just react. All right. And the workbook is not about fixing everything. It's about seeing clearly where momentum is being lost. All right. So if we haven't yet met, hi. I'm Sally Sparks Cousins, and I am an automation nerd, and I love sexy, sexy numbers, and I see patterns consistently because people are doing great content, showing up with consistency, getting attention, but then they're feeling stuck. Not because they're doing something wrong, but it's because there's no clear follow-up system that's actually supporting visibility. Visibility creates your attention, but follow-up creates trust, and trust creates sales. So if you haven't yet done so, grab the workbook and turn to page 2. This page matters because it gives you permission to stop trying to be perfect. This resource is about clarity, not completion. And you don't need to fill in every section, and you don't need to answer everything perfectly. Progress over perfection. But one clear insight is enough. And if you catch yourself thinking today, I should already have that sorted. Well, that thought doesn't help you build momentum. No, because you need to actually get the doing done. Now, if you turn to page 3, this section exists for one reason: to help you notice where people are currently finding you and what's next. You see, visibility is working if people are seeing you, but if attention without direction of where to go next isn't there, then what are they going to do when they see your content? All right, so let's have a look at page number 3. And I want you to write down, where do most people often find you right now? So would it be Instagram, Facebook, referrals, LinkedIn, on the lives that you do, or via emails? All right, so write a few things down there. And then what we're going to do is I want you to think about, from all the content that you do, which one seems to get you the most attention? So where do you tend to get more likes and comments? Is it on your reels, your stories, your posts, your lives, or your emails? So write those down. And if you don't know everything right now, that's okay. But have a bit of a guess there, and then you can go and actually do some research after this episode as well. All right, then our next question for today is, after someone sees or engages with your content, what then usually happens? Okay, so here's some things that you can tick, okay? You'll either tick, nothing really happens, right? And I can tell you this is a very common answer. It's not failure, okay? It's just that information you have not yet implemented. Or do they comment, and then do they disappear after the like and the comment? Sometimes do you get messages from them? Or you all actually have a really clear next step? Do you have that? And if you're not sure, then just tick not sure. So this is section 1 of the workbook. Where does attention, or where do you currently get attention? Okay. Once we know where you're getting attention, then we need to identify your follow-up gaps. So this is on page number 4. Now, this is where momentum can usually get lost. Not because you're not doing something, it's because there's no clear pathway. So the section on this page is going to ask you right now, do you have a clear next step after somebody enjoys your content? Right now, you can tick yes, no, or sort of, it depends. Or as the young kids would say, 6, 7. I see the VIPs laughing in the room. Yeah, we joke about that all the time here because my daughter's just turned 21. Well, she's turning 21 this year, and I can tell she's getting older because she's saying the young kids say. So she's not one of them anymore. All right. So the next thing I want you to consider that if someone wanted to hear from you again, could they actually easily do that? Right? Yes, they can. They easily know where to go to connect with you, or no, they don't, or you're just not quite sure. Right now, this is where momentum usually drops off. And these questions really matter because people don't just disappear and drift away, right? It's because we put follow-up in place and it exists to catch people before they drift away. So I want you to answer in your own words, like, where does that momentum usually drop off, right? Is it because you don't have a clear next step, or are you just inconsistent with giving people a clear next step, or is it just missing altogether? All right. Now, what we're going to do in section 3 is you want to design a simple follow-up path. All right. Now, this is on page number 5, and the key to this page is because what you've got is follow-up, but it also needs to be not complicated. And you have to ensure that it's intentional as well. You see, if you're building a funnel, right, there is more steps involved. I'm talking about content that's just getting out there. So you're posting on social media, you're doing live streams, stories, reels, even going live, right? It's not actually about designing a full funnel here. You just need one clear path. Okay, so we've got a question here that says, what is one place you want people to land after seeing your content? Do you want them to join your email list? Do you want them to get a free resource? Do you want them to book an appointment? Or do you want some kind of conversation with them? So you could send them to your DMs. Or if there's something else. Right? But most importantly, how you want this to feel is simple. You want it to be helpful. You want it to be a very calm path to the next step. And it needs to be aligned with your offer, aligned with whatever that content is. What's the next logical step? Right? Because we want them to get to that next step nice and simple. All right, it shouldn't feel too heavy. It shouldn't go straight to a sale unless they're really warm. Right? So this page is for you to start thinking about what is the simple follow-up system that you are going to do? Now, here's the thing. I don't need you to do everything, okay? I just need you to focus on one thing, one follow-up system, one pathway from content to what, right? One small next step, not tens of thousands of next step, not a someday I'm going to follow up, right? Just one. Momentum comes from follow-up. There's a reason why my book is called The Fortune's in the Follow-Up, because that's how I made my money. It wasn't from running just challenges or putting social media content out there every day. It wasn't just through going live right here for Strategy with Sally every single week. It was the follow-up that I did after. So I don't want you to overthink this. All right. I want you to think of one follow-up system or pathway. And then I want you to just this week take one action step towards being able to set this system up. So let me give you a little tip when it comes to posting on social media. Did you know that inside of OmniSam, you can actually schedule your social media content? We know this, right? You can schedule your content. We actually have 3 posts a day, every day, in all places. We have a morning post, an afternoon post, and an evening post. Now, these 3 posts are evergreen, right? Now, what you could do, and this is one really cool thing about scheduling using OmniSam, is it actually allows you not only to schedule the post, the reel, the story, whatever it is, and put in your description, there's an extra section at the bottom that allows you to put in the very first comment. So in that first comment, what you could do is send them off to a resource, right? To a link to opt in to get a resource that is feeling like the next logical step from that post. And did you know that inside of OmniSam, you can get them to comment on the post and then it triggers an email or a DM or next steps. So you could put in your post, comment the word intro below or demo below, and we can then fire an automation off of the comment on the post, right? So we could then just follow up with them. So you see, that's just one little thing that you can do. If you're sending weekly emails, you could send them to, again, opt in for an additional resource. Or you could get them to book a call, right? On social media, you could just say to them, shoot me a DM. Get them into your inbox. All right, so that's some examples of what you can do when you're thinking of what is the next step. Now, not every single post has to have an ask, right? You don't have to ask on every post to the next step, but you should be doing it on quite a lot of your posts, right? Because without follow-up, honestly, you are just leaving money sitting on the table. Am I right? Yeah. So let me know in the chat, how strong is your follow-up system? 0, I don't really have one. 1, I think I kind of sort of got one. 2, it needs work. Or 3, mine rocks. It's awesome. Let me know in the chat. 1, don't have one. 2, maybe, sort of. 3, it needs work. 4, it's amazing. All right, let's have a look. So our VIPs are putting in, we've got a 0. Okay, well, we've got to fix that. Deborah says 0, don't have one. I know you're in sort of the initial stages, so that's totally understandable. And same with Sharon. You're both in those sort of startup areas where you're still defining your offer. Well, your offer's defined because we did a mapping session together, so we know what your offer is. It's just now we've got to build the promotion to get eyes onto that offer for both of you. Joanne says 1, 2, and 3. And I know you're not scared of picking up the phone, Joanne. So, you talk to people, no problem. And Jenny says it needs work. All right. Let me give you a little tip that we do when it comes to when we get a new lead that comes in. And you'll hear me talk about this in my book, Speed to Lead. The faster you can answer somebody when they opt in, the higher the chance of conversion because they're hot. I mean, within a few minutes. But we have an SLA, which means service level agreement, which our staff need to hit, which is within 24 hours. If there's a phone number coming in with that new lead needs a phone call within maximum of 24 hours, right? Because you can just follow up with that. You don't have to go onto that call trying to sell them anything. You're just checking that they got the free resource. Did they have any questions? How did it go? A good question, what did you like best? Right? We know this one. If you've been around my world long enough, we don't use what did you think? We use what did you like best? Now, we call these ATCs or attempt to contact. And your ATC 1, 2, and 3, ATC 1 must be within 24 hours. ATC 2 and 3 are 1 week apart. Now, 80 to 90% of the time, you're going to be leaving voicemails when you're following up, right? So what you'll do is leave a voicemail and move them from ATC 1 to ATC 2 and set a task in 1 week's time to follow up with that person. And you put a note on their record, I called, no answer, left a voicemail or unable to leave voicemail. Send a text message. Right? Then ATCs, as I said, 1 is 24 hours, 2 and 3 are 1 week apart. Then 4, 5, and 6 are 2 weeks apart. And then 7, 8, and 9 are 4 weeks apart or 1 month apart. So we actually pick up that phone trying to connect with somebody 9 times before we abandon them and shift them on into abandoned. And they may drop back in again when they opt into something else, right? So we want to make sure that we're following this process. The thing is we can build the technology. We can build the funnels. We can set up the systems. We can guide you and show you how to do marketing strategies. But what we cannot do is guarantee sales because that relies on you. I cannot pick up the phone to every single one of your clients to try and get them into an appointment. I cannot do your sales calls. That is you. You have to do the work to get those results. And honestly, if you're not doing it, you're not doing a disservice to yourself. You're actually doing a disservice to those beautiful humans that gave you their email and phone number because they're interested in what it is that you have. And if you're not following up with them, you just are showing like you don't really care. But I'm sure you do. So this is why it is so important that you follow up. We've got a question. ATC stands for attempt to contact. Yeah. No problems, Deborah. So attempt to contact. And also this is a really important reason why we need to be growing our email list. It really does matter. You see, yes, you've got an email system that, of course, is OmniSam. your follow-up system is built into that, then you need to turn those pieces of content that you put out there via email, social media, live streams, all the things, that all needs to go into a follow-up system. Because it's not actually about how visible you are or how many followers you have, because honestly, your followers are just vanity metrics, right? The real thing that shows your success is the size of your email list and then, of course, your bank account. I went to a conference years ago and there was a speaker on stage who said every one email equates to approximately $1 a month to your bank account. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I probably only had a couple of thousand emails at the time. But as I grew and grew, I noticed that it equated. It could be out by, a couple of $1,000s, but when you're getting into 20, 30, 40, 70,000 a month, a couple of thousands kind of, give or take. But it does equate. As long as you're keeping that email list warm by emailing them weekly, right? And when you join OmniSam, we actually give you the system to email. It's all set up. You've just got to pop the content in and we give you the templates even for the right type of content. But it's then turning that visibility into conversations and then into conversions, right? And the more conversations you have with people, then the more trust you will build. You see, most people don't buy from you when they first meet you. There's a very small amount of jumpers who meet you the first time and, oh yeah, I love her, and they'll jump in and buy your stuff. But most of the time, it's 3 to 6 months before people actually build up enough trust in you to say yes. So really, in essence, what's happening is the work you're doing today is actually affecting your bank account in 3 to 6 months' time. And that's where I talk about that snowball effect, right? We've got to build that strong foundation of a lead funnel, right? Then to a follow-up system. But we then have to keep showing up. And a lot of our clients will do it via live events, whether it's a live webinar, whether it's a live challenge, boot camp, mini training. I heard a really good saying recently, or not a saying, and sort of what's happening with the world right now, and especially with AI. We're kind of in a trust drought right now. A lot of people don't trust a lot of the content that's out there because people are AIing themselves all over the place, right? And personally, myself, I have a rule: no one gonna AI me as a video. If I do it as a video, it's going to be like a cartoon character or something crazy that it's AI. But my face, if you see me turn up on a live, it's me. And you're actually starting to see a lot of really big names who took a step back from a lot of this live stuff, starting to show up on the lives, delivering content to build trust. But also by continuing to pick up that phone and making a real human phone call. That's another thing I don't like to do, is outbound AI. I get and they're trying to pretend to be a human and answer questions. And inbound AI, I personally don't mind, because if I'm getting inbound messages from telesales, I like the AI to filter them out and then answer a few questions to qualify them and then send them to a human. But we let them know up front and we make it a bit fun as well. We make the AI say something crazy. I'm still learning. I'm a crazy AI. Ask me questions. Test me out, right? And then if we can help you, we'll send you to a human. But I don't like the outbound AI. I just think that it's not, I would prefer it personally, a real human to be outreaching to my clients, because then they're ready to take the call. Otherwise, it's just a quick voicemail, right? We're just leaving a quick voicemail. So, who here has a list funnel in place, a list growth funnel? Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Veronica's asking, where is the workbook? It is at sparklewithsally.com/524, because that's our episode number, episode 524. All right. So Deborah says, inbound when people contact you. All right. Well, let's do some Q&A. If anyone's got any questions around today's topic or any key takeaways, let me give you a hand. And then also our live viewers and the people on the podcast, you never know. The question you might ask will be something that somebody else is thinking. And if you're on the live stream, feel free to drop your questions. So who has any questions about the follow-up? Raise your hands and we'll bring you on up. Yep, Deborah does. Deborah, come on up. Let me see if I can. Oh, that's not the one we want. We want to bring you. All right, just start speaking, Deborah. You should come up on screen.
Okay. Yeah.
No,
No, it's just about clarifying for myself when you say inbound AI and outbound AI.
Mm-hmm.
So inbound AI means when somebody contacts you,
Yes.
there's an AI that responds to the contact, the initial contact.
Correct. Yeah. So there's two different types.
Okay.
So there's voice AI, right? And then there's
Yeah.
conversations AI. So conversations is the
Okay.
tippy tap typing words, and voice, of
Okay.
course, is voice. And we can actually write an AI to answer questions with a voice. We can program it to do that. So when people call,
Okay.
they go into our knowledge base. Something weird's going on here with this Zoom active speaker. Let's fix that. So when people come in and they are wanting to ask questions, it's a good way to filter out the spam. It's a good way to filter out the telesales people, or also pre-qualify people. Like for us, we need to know they're a business owner, right? If they make a call and they're trying to sell me roofing supplies, they're no good to me, right? So there's no point reaching out to a human. And that can also be built all inside of OmniSam. Now, I know we're having this conversation, but you're not going to build it because you've got to build your funnel first. You've got to build a list growth funnel. Just to everyone, to let you know, at the end of this month, hang on, let me give you the dates. We are running a list growth boot camp on the week of the 26th. So it'll be a 5-day boot camp. It's a free event that you can come along to, and we're going to be teaching you about building a list growth funnel. It's called List Growth Made Easy Boot Camp. I don't have an opt-in yet, naughty me. As you know, I'm the chef that doesn't cook at home. I will build it in the last minute. We just locked in the dates yesterday for it. So if you want to get on the wait list, just email us at support@omnisam.com.au or shoot us a DM. Let us know that you want to be on the wait list for List Growth Made Easy Bootcamp, and we will pop you on that. And then as soon as we've set up registration, we'll send you the link to get registered so that you can get all that beautiful automation, reminders and everything. So it's a 5-day event. And then later on in February, we're actually going to be running the postponed GSD workshop. So remember, at the end of last year, we were going to do a GSD workshop for list growth. It's a full 3 8-hour day workshop. So for our Academy students, you'll be getting notifications about that soon. I'm just checking the calendar. It looks like the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And remember, Australia, so a day earlier for if you're in the US and Canada, of February. We're looking at that 3-day GSD event. So if you want to lock those down into your calendars so you don't miss them, all details will be coming soon. My staff are actually living locally right now. We've put them up in accommodation, and we are this week in our 12-month planning. So yesterday we actually started putting together what we're going to do over the next 12 months. All right, Joanne, you've got a question.
Yeah, Sally. What is the difference between podcast and webinar?
Podcast and webinar. Let me just get you on screen first. 1 second. There she is. All right. So the difference between podcast and webinar. Webinar is one of two things. A webinar is a live training or an evergreen training with a call to action on the end to an offer, which is a sale, or book a call, which then, of course, leads to a sale. A podcast is this. It's talking. It's teaching. If you're on an Android, you will, I don't know what podcast service Android uses. We use it used to be called iTunes. It's called something else now. Go to Spotify has it. If you go and look for Strategy with Sally on all the podcasting places, you will find these episodes. So all the different things we do on our podcast, we do teaching episodes like this one. We do other learning style ones. I also do interviews on the podcast as well. We'll be getting a lot of our interviews together as well during this planning season that we're in right now. So your podcast is more about consistent content that goes out there. But the cool thing about a podcast is the episodes people can listen to years later. I did an episode with Brock Johnson on Build Your Tribe probably about 4 years ago. And I still get people opting into the freebie that I gave away on that podcast years ago. Right? That's the great thing about podcasting. And this is another reason why when I talk to a lot of you, we talk a lot about going live every single week. Because what do I do with this episode? I turn it into a podcast, right? So you're going to see episode 520 something. Got to look at the number. 524. In 2 more episodes, we've got a quick tip coming, and then we've got this episode will drop. So we actually drop 3 episodes every week. We do 1 long and we do 2 short quick tips. You don't have to do that many. You could just do a weekly one. Some people do them in series, right? So they might do an episode of 12 series and then that's the end, right? But I've just been doing this weekly live to turn it into a podcast, which has now made 524 episodes. There we go. That cleared things up for you, Joanne, the difference between a podcast.
Yes, thank you.
And you can also do live podcasts like we're doing here. Some people don't do that. They do a podcast that is just them in a room and just recording their voice. But we do the video and then change it. So it's still a podcast video, but then change it. Do we have any other questions from the VIP room around today's content? No? All right. So I'm going to do this because I've still got a few more minutes left in the room, but I am going to start doing, and this is because it's a lack of, and this is for you, Ma. So this should not be going into 524. This should be another episode. But what Ma's been doing for me, because I've got years and years and years of content, we were putting out the long episode, which was the Strategy with Sally one every week. And then we would put out quick tips. And what she was doing is going back through all of my old content. And some of that content wasn't even made into podcast episodes. Some of them have been through when I did that 365 Go Live challenge, right? There's loads of content for her to dig through. So she's been doing that for the last few years, digging through the content. She says she's starting to feel like she's starting to drain the bucket, right? There's not a lot of stuff left for the quick tip episodes. So now during Strategy with Sally, I'm also going to be recording quick tips. Now, it's not always going to happen on the live. It's just going to happen on today when I do the live. So if you want to hear the quick tips, then you will need to go to the podcast. But today I thought I've still got a couple of minutes left. I'll do one of the quick tips here on the live. And I'm going to talk to you about today's quick tip is about planning for the rest of the year. This is what we do before we even look at all the things that we're going to do is we go and print out 1 month on so you got 12 pieces of paper. Okay, you got 12 pieces of paper with 1 month on each piece of paper. There are some great websites out there that you can go to that you can choose. So you've got writing spaces. The first thing you're going to put on there is birthdays. So you get your birthday off. Then if you've got any events that you need to attend, have you been invited to weddings? Have you planned a holiday? My entire team yesterday had to put in what they want their holidays to be this year, somewhere in all of 2026. Once we have that in July, we're going to New Zealand because my daughter turns 21 in June. When she finishes her study and she goes into mid-semester break, I've put in New Zealand. So the end of June, early July, we're off to New Zealand. This is so now when we now go and put in our marketing, we actually can plan around that. Oh, and the next thing you want to do before you put your marketing in, public holidays. Right? Make sure your local public holidays, and for us, we also look at American public holidays and Canadian ones that are important because we don't want to be launching in like Thanksgiving weekend, right? Because everyone's winding down. They're not interested in doing an event. They're wanting to spend time with their family and friends. Same with Easter. We don't want to be launching through Easter. I'll tell you, I've done that before because I've planned out and I've worked out every 6 weeks to run an event, didn't look at my public holidays, and guess what? Had to run an event through Easter. It didn't go great. Now we definitely don't do it. Now that you've got in all of your birthdays, your travel, and your public holidays, then I want you to start mapping out your launches. So your launch is where you're going to run your live training. You may not be at Evergreen yet. If you're at Evergreen, it means your live training is converting. But if you're not converting on a live, don't try to go straight to Evergreen. And remember this drought that we're having with trust right now. Teaching live is going to get you a better conversion. It always has, but even more so now because what was happening in the past isn't happening as well now. So what we then did is we started to map out the 6 weeks between each launch. Then what we found is one of those fell on a public holiday weekend. So we had to move it an extra week. So start mapping out either your 6-week rotation or 8-week rotation, depends on what you're going to do for your live. Or if you're doing a webinar, then I recommend that you choose the same week every month. Now you put all of those in your calendar. Now the next thing I've also done is I've put in all of my strategy with Sally's on a Tuesday. So what is your regular weekly live? Now, I'm not going to be available every single Tuesday. The weeks that I'm in New Zealand this year, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to record an episode before I go and schedule it to go live. So now I know when I have to create content and I'm well ahead. The other things that you can put in there are think about seasons. What are certain things that you can capitalize on and run a promotion around that? I want you to put those into your calendar. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Easter weekend, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Then start to think about, are there monthly themes? that you could position a promotion around. Think, I don't know, like, is there a theme or a dog week on dogs or pets or animals? Right? There is International Women's Day. Can you plan an event around that? So start to think of those themes that are available to you that repeat every year. I know there's one for autoimmune, right? They have a certain month for that. So think about your niche and get onto Google and ChatGPT and ask them, what are some common monthly events that happen, such as like International Women's Day or I can't think of any off the top of my head. Now you will have a really good plan for 2026. Now what you're doing is you're not reactive anymore. You're actually planning and working consistently with a plan in place. Yeah? So that's your quick tip for today. Get ready for 2026. Print out that calendar, start to fill in that information, and then you are ready to take that piece of paper and put it into your Google Calendar, right? So we know where everything is. We can block off times. We can start putting in our promotions. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me on Strategy with Sally. I would like to just come into the room as we wrap up and get what did you like best from each of you. So let's come to, I'm going to have to do the changing of the screens because it's not working properly today. Let's come to Joanne. What did you like best?
I really like what you just did on putting everything in the calendar up front so that you can schedule around that. And you don't have to reinvent that wheel every week or every month. It's already done. You just have to look at it. That was probably the best part of the whole thing for me.
Excellent. I love that. What about Deborah? Deborah, come on up. What did you like best?
I agree with Joanne, but also I liked what you can do, what OmniSam can do for when we post on social media and someone responds,
Yes.
the automation. I love that.
Excellent. Awesome.
Yeah.
And let's choose Sharon. What did you like best?
Getting my head around doing follow-up. Like and I've always had trouble with that, always. I mean, I've got a huge email list, well, huge for me. But it's still not converting. Like I send emails out and I still get crickets.
Yeah.
So
it's the follow-up.
yeah, it's
picking up the
and
phone.
now that I've got my Facebook back,
yeah,
which is very exciting.
It is. I got mine back too. It took me 18
so
months.
Now I can focus on going live and doing all the things.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the biggest thing that's going to convert is picking up that phone, right? It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we can practice that. It's a muscle that you build. If it feels uncomfortable now, but the more you do it, just block out a time every week or every other day. In this 2-hour block, all I'm doing is making phone calls. The first couple feel a bit weird and then they just get easier. And here's the thing, the more you do it, the more your bank account will grow because people love talking to people. Like, sure, they'll read your content and they'll read your emails, but honestly, they'll convert when they speak to you. My Thermomix lady, I love her. Right? Not that I want to buy another Thermomix, but she always rings me when the little Thermomix servers go on sale because she knows that's what I like. I might not hear from her for 6 to 12 months. And then she'll pick up the phone and call me. Oh, Thermomix servers are on. Do you want to have a party? Right? A lot of the time I say no, but at least she rang. All right. And one more. Let's bring up Jenny. Jenny, what did you like best?
Hello. I like the AI stuff you were talking about, having AI answer phone calls. That so that it can like weed out the scammers. I love that concept. And also when I'm at my day job, I can't answer my mobile phone, so that would be very handy.
Yeah, definitely. So there's so many different AI. I think earlier on in the beginning of 2025, we ran an AI month, and we taught different pieces of AI within OmniSam over that month. So there was the conversation AI, there was, I think it was workflow AI, voice AI, something else AI. But yeah, we did one over a whole month. So if you want to scan back through the podcast episodes, you should be able to go back and look at that. There's been a lot of updates. Here's the thing with AI though, it's evolving
changes.
so fast, so fast. I think back to the day when I first started writing GPTs and how hard they were, and when they got lots of things wrong, to now how much easier they are for me to write a GPT compared to before.
Yeah.
Like it would take me weeks to get a half decent GPT. If I knuckle down, I can write a pretty decent GPT now in a day. If I only focus on that one thing. We're actually starting to turn our SOPs into GPTs. So, you know, if a staff member is scheduling, say, strategy with Sally, and they can't find the Canva template for the thumbnails, they can just ask the GPT and it'll give them the link. Or they can't find, or they don't know what to do on how to schedule using Restream. They can ask the GPT, it'll tell them what to do. So we're now starting to put all of our SOPs into a GPT so that the staff can go there first before they come to us. And keep an eye on this space, because we will be turning the Freedom Funnel formula and all of my knowledge into a GPT that frames around the academy. But I'm trying to get everything together to do that. So I would say probably 3 to 6 months before it's done. But you will be able to go and talk to it as if you're talking to Sally. And I remember watching this video. Where is it? Right. So we're going to put in all of our podcast episodes, for example, and you can say, I want to learn more about follow-up, and it will give you a list of podcast episodes. So that's kind of the plan forward for our clients. But I'm starting internally first with the team, because I can't be everything to all the team members. And if I can make a GPT for it, then it's going to make life easier. Yeah. Awesome. All right, we better wrap up this. When we go dark, guys, what I will do is that calendar that I just taught you about, I'm going to show you ours. We actually did it together as a team in Canva Whiteboard. So if you're a VIP, you're in the academy or a studio client, come on into the VOZ, because I'm going to show you our calendar that we've put together for 2026 inside of Canva. And as an academy client, I'm going to give you a share link so you can take it, model it, and use it for yourself. All right. So academy and studio clients, head on in. If you're interested in learning more about how to become an academy, shoot us an email at support@omnisam.com.au, and we'll be happy to answer any questions and walk you through all of that. All right, guys, as always, never let anyone dull your sparkle. Make sure you get at least one income-producing activity done every day, and every day be marketing. There's no Ash. She's over there. Oh, she's filming. Hi, Ash. Looks like we'll have a story or a reel going up soon. Here she is. Hang on. Hey, hey, hey. And we also have Vinodi in the office today. Vinodi, come in and say hello. We might as well. Come on over. She's trying to get up from the couch. She's enjoying herself. Say hello.
Hello. Hi, everyone.
It's so lovely to have team members in the office. It's awesome. I love this time of the year when they all come down to set our plans for the next year. All right, guys. See you next week, and never let anyone dull your sparkle. Bye for now.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light. Just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.